Hello and welcome to Virtual Sewing Room in Conversation with. And today I'm joined by.
Mandy. Ooh. I don't want to sound like on my vlog. So yeah, I'm Mandy and I'm Make It Sew on YouTube and at Make It Sew 2023 on Instagram. And I
And
live in Norfolk. Nearly forgot that.
yeah, and you're one of our Virtual Sewing Room hosts as
Yeah.
well. You've been a host since, was it about May, June this year?
Yeah,
Sounds about
something
right.
like that. It's a bit of a blur because of commitments and stuff. But yes, it is, isn't it? Quite a while now.
Yeah, I mean this year. So we're filming in the middle, just before Christmas.
Yes.
So a bit of a fuzzy time anyway, but this year is gone just so quick.
Mm,
Um,
it has, yeah.
So during our little chat here, I'm going to be working on some embroidery on a hoodie. What are you going to be working on?
I was going to be doing some cross stitch, but I made a mistake just before I came on, and I thought there's no way I'm going to be able to concentrate on that. So I'm list making, and I'm checking it twice because some people obviously, have been nice. So yeah, I'm just writing a list because I think it's the last day of posting first class tomorrow, and I am so behind. So yeah, that's what I'm doing.
And have you asked for anything in particular from Santa this year?
Well, yes. I've just asked for anything sewing related really. We're not doing big presents this year because of going away next year again. So yeah, I've just put anything sewing themed or chocolate.
Can't go wrong with chocolate.
No.
Yeah. Though this week we had our Christmas party, and
Yeah.
one of the games we played, Which Host, and we had to guess which host would be most likely to hide fabric around their house in any crevice possible. Who came out on top?
Funnily enough, that was me. But I think I did quite well because that was one of the only things I came top in. So I was quite proud of that.
Yeah, it's not a bad one to
Uh,
be.
I have got three scrap puffs now filled. So if I ever get desperate enough to need some scraps, I know where to go.
Yeah. So, how did you get into sewing? Do you remember?
It's a really good question. Because when I was young, my mum did have a sewing machine, but it was normally known for being used as a snack and bar at Christmas. I don't ever remember seeing her using it for what it's meant to be for. And I can remember like looking through her buttons. I used to go through the tin. I had a thing about buttons. But I also had an auntie that did sewing. And when I was at school, I did do needlework because they used to have that as a lesson. But my teacher took an hour to unpick my tacking, so I wasn't really destined for anything then. So that put me off really. And it was because I was given a sewing machine and someone where I live said they could look at it and basically told me it was no good. It weren't worth servicing. So they knew someone that could sell me a reasonably, can't get my words out. They were going to sell me a reasonably priced Janome. And I
Mm.
got hold of it and then heard of someone that was teaching, and I just went along and it went from there, really. So I think my first garment after being shown how to use it was a duvet cover, and I made a dress, but it was way too short because I didn't know about like how tall I was compared to commercial patterns.
Mm.
Yeah, so it sort of went on for quite a few years on and off, but it was time I didn't get time to get good at it. So every time I got to sew, I had to sort of relearn everything again. So it's only really been since last May, so just over a year when I went to a retreat and it just blossomed from there, really.
Oh,
So
only just so not even a year.
not like, really intense sewing where I feel I'm confident with things. I mean, during lockdown and everything, I made about 40 headbands for my colleagues at work. And, so I did sew, but just not to the same degree as I do now, which is basically nearly every day.
Ah, but it's your little recluse from work and
Yes, definitely. It's definitely it's like being in a little imagine, well, it sounds ridiculous, but like being in an imaginary land, it's like a bit of magic compared to where I work.
Has there been anything that you've made where you've just, it makes you feel magical, like, oh my God, I did this, like from scratch?
Um, I think my Andy's jacket that I made, because even people now are like, wow, where did you buy that? And I'm like, well, actually, I made it. And I think, did I? Did I really manage to make that? Because it wasn't like the easiest thing to, if you were a beginner. And also my son's dressing gown, which I know sounds ridiculous, but he wears it every day. And he sort of cuddles it and says it is so nice, bearing in mind he's 6'4" and we struggled to buy him one. I was so chuffed with that. Just not Christmas Eve last year when I was sewing it because I was like, I need to get this finished. But
I
yeah,
remember.
yeah,
Yeah,
do you remember that?
I do. I
Yeah,
do.
I'm locking the door to my sewing room if I can, barricading it so I have Christmas Eve off this year. But yeah, I think, and bags really, everything, once you've had a go at it and you're confident, I think you love making things, don't you? And it's just seen like the last year and a half how things have changed what I do now. I mean, like sewing buttons on with my sewing machine. A lot of people are like, oh my God, how do you do that? But I'll just go there and had a go and, you know, 2 seconds per button now.
See, I tried doing buttons on my machine, my newer machine.
Oh yeah.
Didn't
No?
go well.
Oh
No.
no.
Yeah, but it's fine. I don't mind hand sewing because I find at the end of a project, that's when I can actually leave my little retreat and see
Yeah.
civilization and sit with my husband. So sit in front of the TV with him and sew it
Yeah.
on. So it's like the kind of final stretch. So I don't mind. Um,
No.
it's not the end of the world. I'm used to it now. But buttonholes, game
Yeah.
changer. So much better
Yeah.
with the machine. Like
Do you have like the button foot where you have to pull the sensor bit down, or do you have a screen where you measure the button?
no, there's a bit that comes down the side
Yeah.
of the foot that comes down, and then that yeah, that tells me how far it's going to go, and I press the button, and it's done in seconds.
Yeah.
Like
See, that's the one thing I love about my Bernina. You have a screen and you just measure the button by putting the button on it and increasing or decreasing it. And I don't have to pull anything down either. I just put the button foot on and away it goes. So yeah, I haven't got confident with my bonnet, which is probably similar to what you've got. So I need to do that really for when I'm on sewing socials, like in person ones. Otherwise, I avoid buttons at the moment.
I love buttons, so I just have to embrace it.
Yeah,
It's yeah, a bit of a game change now. It's a bit quicker, even with the hand sewing of the buttons.
yeah.
Mm. So when you were younger, what did you want to be when you grew up?
That's a really good question
What did
because I've done totally different to what I wanted to do. So it depends how young you want to go. To start with, I loved books when I was younger. We had this library. I used to be left, my mum would go shopping and leave me in there reading because I was a right bookworm. So to start with, I wanted to be a librarian and I made my own, all my books up like library books and used to lend them out to friends, give them the ticket. But while I was at school, I was quite good at typing. I learnt to touch type. I did RSA 1 and 2, and I had all this ambition of being a secretary. So I was going to go to college and do A-level secretarial. And unfortunately, as it does happen to some people, my English teacher, we just didn't get on. So he gave me a really bad mark for my English, which I did retake and get an A in the end. So I proved him wrong. But yeah, I didn't go to college, and my mum and dad showed me this double page advert for Norwich Union as they were known then. And I ended up there and became an underwriter, which is totally different. But I did like maths as well. I liked working with figures, so underwriting and like projecting what company cars and that, what they had to pay, the fleet. That's what I got into. And then I went on to product development, which was writing computer programs for insurance brokers.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's amazing how teachers can have that distinct effect. So I
Yeah.
wanted to do textiles at GCSE, but there was only 4 people, so they weren't
Oh,
prepared to run the
wow.
course. So
Yeah.
that, that's a sliding doors moment uh,
Mm,
for
yes.
me. It's fine now, but yeah, but having teachers that don't support you or enthusiastic teachers as well, like
Yeah.
big difference.
Yeah. You find it still happens though. I mean, my children have it with a certain teacher, which I won't mention just in case. But when I first went on an open evening for my son to go there, which was about, crikey, he's now at uni, so quite a few years ago, there was actually still a textiles or a sewing teacher. And she was really excited that I did sewing. And if my daughter hadn't been so young at the time, I would have gone in and helped out once a week. But she even said, you can go and look in my cupboard if you like and help yourself. But I didn't because I knew I didn't have any room for it. But unfortunately, I think it was like a year or two later, they stopped doing it. She retired and they've sort of squeezed it in with the art and textiles now. So they've got like 8 machines compared to a massive room they used to have. It's such a shame, isn't it, really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you always lived in your part of the country?
No. Um, when I was 12, my parents decided to move from Essex to Norfolk, and I obviously didn't have a choice because I was too young. One of my brothers stayed behind. So I've been in Norfolk since 1986, which is probably quite a long while. Um, and yeah, so we sort of moved around Norfolk quite a bit, and then I moved to Norwich and bought my own flat, and then met my husband. So yeah, I've been in Norfolk for most of my life, and this house is the longest I've ever lived anywhere. So yeah,
Which parts of Norfolk have you lived in? Not that
oh
many of us
wow.
know every corner, but how
Um,
about a favourite and a maybe wouldn't go back?
well, I have to say Wyndham, where I am now, is my favourite. As to where I lived. I mean, everywhere I went was lovely. There was one place in a place called Watton. Watton was lovely, but one of the places we lived wasn't so good. But that's when I was a bit younger. But the only thing with when I lived out there was at the time, because obviously I'm a bit old, the bus services weren't very good. And to get to work when I was 16, there was like either a bus at silly o'clock in the morning or the next one would only just scrape through to when you needed to be at work. So it was very remote for that sort of thing. But I mean, I lived in Norwich for quite a few years and it was lovely to be near the hustle and bustle, but I quite like where I am because it's not too far away from life rather than being. But I thought, I wouldn't mind being in some remote place now, big house or cottage to myself and peace and quiet. That'd be quite nice.
A lot of us dream of that, really.
Oh, yes. The idyllic situation of if money was no object, what would you do?
Mm, yeah. So I cycled round a bit of Norfolk last year, 2023. Uh,
Yeah,
and there were some beautiful kind of corners. And I remember I
yeah.
did get a train around some bits because some bits were quite muddy because there were storms
Mm,
coming through at the time. But I remember getting off and there was this amazing cafe. I'll have
mm.
to find it and put it in the link, but like
Yeah,
I
definitely.
happened to look and there was just they did amazing sausage rolls, which I'd put in my pocket and some what was it? Caramel shortbread and I put it in
Oh,
my pocket with my bag and
yeah,
carried then I stopped and ate it near a Norwich and so good. It's such a good
yeah,
price.
yeah.
But it's
I do miss cycling. I did used to enjoy that whole, oh, we'll go and do 40 miles and we'll stop off at a cafe halfway. And that was really lovely. It's a
yeah.
nice way to exercise and it's good for your head, I think, as well.
Yeah, it really is. And one of my favorite, so I spent 3 weeks cycling around the UK, and my favorite bit was King's Lynn
Oh,
to
yeah.
somewhere north on the coast. What was it called?
Cromer, Holt,
I went
whichever.
through Holt, so it was just
Yeah,
north of there, so maybe it's Chrome.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah, North
there
Norfolk's lovely.
just this amazing stretch. Like it's my
Yeah.
favorite photo, and
Yeah.
it was glorious. Like for 3 weeks, that was my favorite bit from New England.
Yeah.
So,
I
yeah.
bet you ached though.
Uh, no, because I'd been cycling quite a lot.
Oh yeah.
I'd built up that fitness. If I was to
Yeah.
do that today, because that was a long day,
Mm.
I'd feel it a lot more because I've lost my fitness a bit. But no, not so much
No.
that one. And because there were hills,
Mm.
not nothing like I've done before though. Like I've done some really bad ones.
You keep saying Norfolk's flat, but it isn't.
No, it's not flat. There are
No.
definitely hills, and yeah, this glorious day of riding, there are lots of swoops, and I love a good
Yeah.
swoop where you've got,
When you go down, oh, that bit is like, yes. I have to put my brakes on though because I can't go further or faster than 25 miles an hour. I'm like, no.
yeah, some downhills, but when it's a straight road and you've got fields either side of you, blue
Yeah.
skies, and
Beautiful, isn't it? Yeah.
yeah, so yeah, lovely part of the world.
Yeah.
But if you could move anywhere else, or if you could travel anywhere, is there anywhere you'd like to go?
What, in the UK or
Or
anywhere?
anywhere?
Oh, I mean, in the UK, when I went for a sewing retreat weekend recently, up there in like North, I'm trying to think the area, was it Shrewsbury? That was really
Shropshire
lovely. Or
that you went.
Shropshire. See, I can't remember. I know it started with an S, but yeah, that was really beautiful up there. I've only ever been to Dundee for or Dundee or Aberdeen in Scotland. I wouldn't mind going up there a bit more. There's just so many, like when the children were younger, we didn't even bother with passports because we said there's so many things around the UK. Like we loved Dorset, we loved Cornwall. You know, there's still so many places we haven't been that I'd like to go, like Southampton, for example.
New Forest. Do you want to go to the New
New Forest.
Forest?
Oh, I've been there. That was Peppa Pig World. I remember we got there. It was, as you can imagine, my daughter was quite young, but we were traveling in the night, so we didn't see it all. So on the way back, it was like, oh wow, really nice. That's a bit of a journey from here, but I
Yeah,
did like it.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Would have gone very close to it where I used to live.
yeah,
But yeah, Peppa Pig World. Yeah, that's local tourist bit. It's kind of
yeah.
forest, but you don't see the good stuff of the New Forest. But yeah,
No,
it's
no.
lovely. If you could have a sewing retreat with anyone,
Hmm.
say you're going back to Shropshire,
Be nice.
who would you like in your retreat? Who would you invite? Dream.
Yeah, dream.
Yeah.
I must admit, I really did enjoy the weekend because it was with a lot of my favourite like sewing vloggers that I've got to know as friends. A couple of extra people would have to come with that, obviously, like my friend Claire and people from the virtual. They're all so lovely. I mean, I was thinking earlier about it. What do I prefer, in-person socials or virtual? But they both have that warmth. Even though it's virtual, you still feel that warmth, don't you, from each other?
Yeah.
So, anybody really that loves sewing. I wouldn't be fussy.
A very diplomatic and neutral
It's
answer.
good, isn't it?
But you're right. I've only done one sewing day. No, I did the virtual sewing weekender with the Fold Line a few years
Oh,
ago.
yes.
The warmth to that. I was introvert, so I wasn't very chatty, but equally chatty to people close to me. Uh,
Yeah.
so I was seeing people that I'd followed on Instagram. So it's a bit like
Oh, yeah.
that person made me make this because I love their version, and oh,
Yeah.
and I felt too much of an idiot to go and say hello to a lot of people.
Oh,
Yeah, but it was still a really nice experience.
yeah.
It hasn't put me off doing retreats or anything. It's just
Mm.
I, but yeah, there's definite warmth. I mean, obviously I'm biased, but I think there's a warmth to the virtuals that we do. A lot of support.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do find, obviously, I've been to other virtual type ones, but out of all of them, this is my go-to, definitely. And that's not just me saying it because I host it
Yeah.
and, everything else. It's just how it is. there's different characters, obviously, and you get to know everybody on here. So it's almost like you meet, well, you're meeting friends every time, aren't you? So it's really nice.
Yeah.
And it's nice also that people are noticed if they're not there.
Yes. Yes. I dropped a couple of people a message who popped up on our Christmas party that I haven't seen for a while
Yeah,
as well. And that was just like, oh, they're here. And
yeah,
it's nice to see
yeah.
faces. It's noticeable. And when we did our card exchange, I actually happened to pair up with someone who hadn't been for a while. So it was quite nice.
Mm. Yeah, I
Touch
think I
base
did
with
as well,
them.
didn't I?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
um, that was really nice.
What are you actually embroidering on your hoodie then?
Um, So I only know a few stitches really. Oh, there
Yeah.
goes the camera. So I've been just doing some like little flowers. So there's a
Yeah.
stain. So it used to
Oh,
be my husband's
wow.
hoodie, but then it
Yeah.
was stained and he didn't want to wear it. So it's my
Oh,
go-to gym hoodie now because
yeah.
it's me. Doesn't bother me. I've been plenty of times with this, but I thought
Yeah.
actually maybe I could embroider over it and then he won't ever wear it again. And I've definitely got a hoodie.
Good way of doing it.
Yeah, I'll do a couple of flowers and then I'm going to do some like leaves or some
Yeah.
decorative stitches just to
Oh,
cover it up.
lovely.
So it's just kind of in a like random place. It's
Yeah.
not quite high enough like a patch pocket. It's
Mm.
in an awkward place. Have you got any small businesses or anyone that you would like to promote? Because we're all about promoting small businesses and little people and in the
Yeah.
in creative world.
There's so many small businesses out there, aren't there? And even on the virtual, I do find like they'll mention a pattern company I've never heard of. I have been talking about these on one of my vlogs recently. And that's a lady I just discovered called Jean Dove, and she does it's a really long name, so I have to read this. It's Dove's Bag Bits and Polished Pools. And she's a 70-year-old lady that's just, I think she started last year. And I got some zips off her, and they're really good quality, and they were so reasonably priced that I thought this can't be right. I'll get them and they'll fall apart, but they're the easiest ones. You know, when you get the zip pull and you put it on and you really struggle, they just went on. So I will be buying from her again once I've used what I've got. Um, so I love that because haberdashery is just so much harder to find now in shops. A lot of them don't seem to do it, do they? And I like to see things in person if I can, but that's harder and harder, isn't it? Um, I also like Fabrics by Penny community page on Facebook. She runs it with a couple of other people, and it's all fabrics, and they do sometimes have haberdashery as well. I can actually advertise for them because I'm wearing my latest toaster, which is their rope knit that they had. I can't remember how much it was, but it's really reasonable. And someone I saw the other day said that they'd bought the same from a bigger company. I won't mention because I don't want to, but
Mm.
it was like at least £7 cheaper a meter that I paid for it. So yeah, but it's so soft. I love it.
Oh, amazing. I'll make sure to
Yeah,
put links in the
yeah,
descriptions.
I can give them to
Find
you if
it.
not.
Do you say they were both UK based
Yeah,
companies?
they're both UK based. I haven't got any like ones abroad. Um, I mean, I have a cricket machine and I get my stuff from the Netherlands, but that's cricket, and they when you're an Access member, it's free postage a lot of the time, so I don't mind that, and they're so quick. But other than that, I don't really order for. Oh, Cozy Club Handmade, the labels. Yeah,
I got some the other day actually. Uh,
yeah.
yeah, it wasn't an advent or anything, but I saw them. I think someone, I can't remember who had them, but I
Oh,
just thought they were
nice.
great. And the glitter was
Yeah,
like extra, like, oh, so I'm looking forward to putting it into something.
this is going in my patina. Can you see
Oh,
it?
yeah, I got them as well. Yeah,
I've been giving them out to people who've been doing Christmas makes at socials because I thought I'm not going to use all of them, and it'd be nice to gift them to others because they are really lovely. But she's abroad, but you'd never believe it because they get there really quick, don't they?
yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah.
I think labels are a great gift for other
Mm.
sewers.
Yeah, I showed some on my vlog the other day when I went to the Scotland social. Emma had made us all a little gift. It's like a lip balm holder, or you could put other things in it. And inside there were two of the Cozy Club handmade labels as well. and we all picked the colour we liked, which was really random because they're all wrapped up, and we all opened and we were like, oh wow, that's my colour. So she,
Amazing.
must have taken her a while to sort it all out, but that was really kind of her to do that, to say thank you to us for attending.
Yeah,
So yeah, labels go a long way.
definitely. And I've got a whole so Maria, one of our regulars, oh, you can't see it, it's just out of shot, but a little pouch, and she
Yeah.
gave me loads of labels
Oh,
from her
that's
stash
nice.
for my birthday,
Yeah.
which is very kind and
Yeah.
spoiled. So I don't need to buy any for a while. Um,
No. My tin is starting to overflow, actually. I've got a little tin that I got from a Think Pink subscription box. And yeah,
oh
this was
yeah,
me the other night. Oh, I need to find a label. And you sort of had them all nicely organized. And then that happens.
and are not nicely organized. There's so many
No,
just
no. But
similar.
that's when I was making my friend's bag. I wanted to find one to put on the outside for her. So I need more of those labels, the long labels that don't fold over, just the single ones.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
but I'm trying not to spend any more this year. I'll say I'll buy it next year because that's not too far now.
And in 2025, are you going to any retreats or festivals or shows?
Oh, I'm going to the Plymouth Frock Tales in March,
Yes.
and I keep looking at a retreat. There's a few options, but I haven't booked anything yet because I'm going to Florida again
Hey.
in June. That was not planned at all. But my daughter and husband on a dog walk again, funnily enough, were talking about it. And my son was like, oh, I wouldn't come this time. I'd come in 3 years when we're planning for my husband's 50th. Um, and of course, they come home and start planting that little seed inside. And I'm like, oh, we could go again. It'll be cheaper in June. She would have finished her GCSEs and we can celebrate by going away there. So, yes, I haven't planned too much yet. I'm hoping to go to the dressmaker's ball.
Mm,
Hopefully, we can do something with that, can't we?
maybe.
But yeah, I will plan to do a few retreats and obviously the socials I go to. So yeah, be a busy bee again.
It's always nice to, because we bumped into each other at the knitting and
Stitch
stitching.
Fest. Oh, knitting and stitching, wasn't it? Yeah, I was in a bit of a daze that day, wasn't I? Because I hadn't
Yeah, you
slept
had
for a while.
you'd had a very busy weekend, I
Oh,
think.
it was going to
Or
be
you're going to
very.
a retreat.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
was going to a retreat. I'm not sure if Beautiful Things are doing one next year. We haven't heard anything yet, but that's how I met my sewing friend Claire. So yeah, nice things come out of these retreats.
Oh yeah, and all the socials as well, which is just really cool.
Definitely, yeah, yeah,
So we've been chatting for a while now. So
yeah.
I'm gonna round it up with a quick fire round of
Okay.
questions. It's a this or that.
Pay
Um,
attention.
it's a mix of sewing and non-sewing.
Right,
Woven or knit,
knit.
blue or green.
That's hard because I like teal.
I, I'll tip in the middle
In the
because
middle.
I'm the same actually. Plain or patterned,
I always go for patterns, but I
cat or
should go
dog.
for plain. Cat or dog? I've
Oh,
got one of each. Can I have that? I love cats, but I also love my dog. So, yeah,
okay,
cat
so I'm in the
dog.
middle again. Teal. Early bird or night owl.
Well, mm, that's difficult. I used to be an early bird, but then I do night shifts, so that's mucked that all up. I'm definitely not a night owl. I definitely don't sew past 10 o'clock at night. So probably early bird.
Knitting or crochet.
I used to knit. I can't get round crochet, although I do love it. My daughter can do it a lot easier than I could. So I'll have to say knitting, really, wouldn't I? These are awkward questions, Jenny.
Train or aeroplane.
Aeroplane.
Spots or stripes.
Oh, spots.
Tea or coffee.
Coffee.
Perfect finish or life's too short?
Perfect finish.
Cake or biscuits?
Cake.
I
They're easy.
think I'd
Yeah.
be. Read a book or watch TV?
Oh, I'd love to read a book, but I end up watching telly, but book definitely.
Zips or buttons?
Oh, buttons, because I'm good with those.
Text message or phone call?
I prefer phone call, but it doesn't happen very often, does it, anymore?
No, you're not
No.
gonna. Sewing machine or hand sewing?
Oh, sewing machine all the way. Have
And
you seen
phone.
my hand sewing?
Cream first or jam first?
Jam. Then you can put more cream on it, can't you? See, I don't have butter though, so I use jam and then cream. Yeah. Is that Cornwall or Devon?
That one's Cornwall.
Okay. So I'll
Simon.
please the Cornwall people.
But it's okay because we've got fair balance because I'm a Devon girl. I'm a cream first
Okay. But
because
why?
it acts like a butter.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay. I'll let you have that.
Anyway, so just remind us before we go, your vlogging channel, your YouTube channel,
Yeah.
where we can find you.
Make it so. Do you like that?
Oh yeah, I'd noticed yeah, I'd noticed them
Yeah,
yes.
it's make it so. Um, I'm awkward and I have a comma and a apostrophe, but not apostrophe, exclamation mark even. But yeah, everyone says they like the nerdy name because it's Picard, isn't it? Where he used to go make it so. So
Yeah. But I'll pop all the links in the chat so you can find
yeah,
Mandy. But
thank you.
thank you very much, Mandy. It's
Thank
lovely
you.
chatting to you.
You too.
Take
I'll
care.
see you soon. Bye.